Hey everyone, welcome back. Dave again. This time it's going to be a little bit of a quiz. So this is going to cover a lot of the stuff that we've already gone through in these other presentations, but something that you may want to just test yourself on. It doesn't count for anything other than just your own knowledge, but help yourself. So what this quiz is it was pulled from the 2017 Baseball Umpires quiz that's furnished every year in the Referee magazine, which is sponsored by NASO, the National Association of Sports Officials. If you don't have a membership to NASO, or if you don't get Referee magazine, always a good thing to do. So I would highly encourage you. So let's go through some of the ground rules regarding this quiz. First of all, don't read too much into the question. The question is the question. Okay? Don't assume anything about what if scenarios. Again, the question is the question. So rule only on what you are given. If it doesn't say the runner was advancing to second, it would be safe to assume that the runner was not advancing to second. The questions are geared towards Federation, NCAA, and Pro rule books. But apply the Little League rules. Okay, there may be more than one correct answer for each of these, so remember that accordingly. You may have a multiple choice question where it's A, R, and Q. I don't think there's that many choices, but you get the idea. All right, and this quiz can be found at referee.com, Baseball Umpires Quiz 2017, with appropriate hyphens throughout. So let's get into it here, and we'll start thinking about these things as we get on. All right, so question number one. With a runner on first and one out, the fifth batter in the order hits a shallow pop up to second base. So runner on first, shallow pop up to second base. The batter, in his disgust for popping up, throws his bat down and begins to slowly jog towards first base. Second baseman gets under the pop up in plenty of time, as R1, that means the runner on first, gets only 2 steps off of first base expecting the routine catch. At the last second, that second baseman lets the pop up fall to the ground, immediately picks it up and throws to F6, so in other words throws over to the shortstop to force out the runner at second base. The shortstop then hums across to first base, and the batter is called out on a very close play. Okay, so what do we got? We got a pop-up, uncaught. Let's take a look at the answers now. So what do we have? We have A, should we call time as soon as the fielder lets the ball hit the ground? B, let the play stand. C, that's an intentionally dropped ball. Or D, B2 is called out, and the runner must return to first. So let's take a look at the ruling now. We just went over this in class the other night, so those of you who were there, as a matter of fact, this very exact scenario. A batter is out when an infielder intentionally drops a fair fly ball. But the approved ruling, in this situation, the batter is not out if the infielder permits the ball to drop untouched to the ground, except where the infield fly applies. So when we go back and we look at this, here are our options. Okay, one out, runner on first, no infield fly. So if he lets it fall to the ground untouched, the answer is the play stands. Okay, we're not going to call time as soon as he lets the ball hit the ground. He can let it hit the ground. The ball's live and in play. It's not an intentionally dropped ball, as he didn't attempt to catch it and then drop the thing. It let it fall to the ground. So B2 is called out, and the runner must return to first? No. And that's really weird that they gave us B2, considering that the question was B5. So there's a typo in their quiz. Terrific. Moving on. Let's take a look at question number 2. So question number 2, we've got a tie score in the bottom of the last inning, whatever the last inning happens to be. So bases loaded, 2 outs, batter singles to center, and the runner from third crosses the plate. Now the runner at first, thinking the game is over, rounds first base and then retreats to the dugout without touching second or retouching first base. The defense leaves the field without appealing. So we got a bunch of things going on here. So let's take a look at the answers that are applicable or potentially applicable. First of all, the game is over. Okay, we were in the last inning, last half of the last inning. Does runner from first, is he out and the run scores? Or is the runner from first out and the run does not score? Well, let's take a look and see 409 how a team scores. When the winning run is scored in the last half inning of a regulation game or the last half of an extra inning game as the result of blah, 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 okay, which forces the runner on third to advance. Okay, the umpire shall not declare the game ended until the runner forced to advance from third has touched home base and the batter runner touched first. So, batter runner did touch first. Runner on third did touch home. They've left the field. So the game is over. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Now, there's a lot of what-if scenarios to this. Okay, but again, don't read into them. What if they didn't leave the field? What if he rounded first towards second and then the runner on second didn't score? There's a lot of what-ifs. But remember, ground rules. No what-ifs in that one. Question number 3. With the bases loaded, 2 outs, the batter singles. So the runner from third scores, but just before he crosses the plate, his helmet comes off and lands in fair territory. The fielder, attempting to throw to home to retire, so F7, so we got the left fielder, attempting to throw home to retire the runner from second, but it hits the helmet and deflects away. Now we've got the runner from first reaching third, the batter reaching second before the pitcher runs over and retrieves the ball. So a weird and wacky scenario. Basically what they're saying is the runner scores, but his helmet comes off and lands in fair territory. The throw from the outfield hits the helmet, bounces away. The runners continue to advance. Meanwhile, the pitcher goes and gets the ball. So what do we got? We got the runner from third is out because his helmet came off. Or R3 can be called out if the helmet was intentionally removed. Row 2 is out because of the interference. Note the quotes here. Or do we just say play on? So let's take a look here. Okay. Other rule books have specific verbiage regarding intentionally removing a helmet when the ball is live. Currently, though, the Little League rulebook has no such language. It says that they must have a helmet on when they come to bat. But you're not going to find any wording about intentionally removing a helmet in live ball territory. So if we were playing Federation rule books, again, we're not reading what if, but R3 could be called out if his helmet was intentionally removed. So in his celebration, whatever, he flips it out. High school, you could rule him out. Little League, however, no harm, no foul, which is silly. But that's what we got. Okay, Little League rulebook. Next question. Runner on second is stealing third on the pitch. The catcher catches the pitch cleanly and attempts to throw towards third, and the throw hits the batter. Pretty straightforward. Catcher comes up throwing. You got a right-handed batter in the box. Catches the pitch cleanly. It's not a pick-off attempt. It's a pitch. And attempts to throw towards third, which hits the runner. So we've seen this. There's some Major League footage out there that you can see this happen too. Usually banks him in the, just whacks him in the helmet with the ball. As long as the batter remains in the box, he cannot be guilty of interference no matter how he moves is the first option. As long as the batter remains in his position, he cannot be guilty of interference. And if the batter moves, he at least must move out of the way of the fielder. Or the batter's out no matter what. So let's look at 606 in the Little League Rulebook. A batter is out for illegal action when interfering with the catcher's fielding or throwing by, number 2, making any other movement that hinders the catcher's action at home plate, or the catcher's attempt to make a play on the runner. The question was, what do we got? Stealing third, catches cleanly, attempts to throw. Doesn't say the batter moved in the way, just says he was there. So with that information, as long as he remains in his position, he cannot be guilty of interference. If the question had said the batter moves into the catcher's way, well, then we've got something else. Moving right along. Question number 5. With the bases loaded and 1 out, the batter hits a ground ball through the ground ball to shortstop. So with the bases loaded and 1 out, ground ball to shortstop. The runner who was on first, he comes in a second and slides awkwardly and pops up and into F4. So the second baseman covering the bag, hitting his throwing arm. Second baseman is one half step off the bag to the left side. R1's actions were not intentional, and he was able to reach the bag. Okay? So the runner from first comes across, has an awkward slide. You're going to see this in Little League a lot. He pops up, makes contact with the fielder. What do we got? Okay, so here are your options. The runner from first has committed a violation, whatever the heck that means. The slide is legal. The batter is out for the runner's violation, or the batter is safe at first, since the fielder made no attempt to retire the batter. The run scores, or no runs score. Well, let's take a look at 709 now. This is one of those rules before we get into 709 where this is going to differ a little bit, again, between Little League and Federation rules. It's interference by the batter or runner when, if, in the judgment of the umpire, a base runner willfully and deliberately interferes with a batted ball. Right? Then the ball is dead. The umpire shall call the runner out for interference. So we saw in the question that it was unintentional. Actions were not intentional. So unless you're really going to steal outs from a kid, and it was an accident, and you'll have that in Little League. Kids don't know how to slide. They slide awkwardly. They slide too late. They pop over the bag. They pop up. They make contact with fielders. Little League rulebook needs this to be willful and deliberate interference. So what are our options? The slide is legal. High school, a pop-up slide is clearly defined in the Federation rulebook as illegal, but this is the Little League rulebook. Okay. The batter is safe at first, since the fielder made no attempt to retire him, which, he hit his arm. And the run does score from third. Okay, so again, Little League rulebook differs from the Federation rulebook here. Question number 6. With a runner on first, the batter hits a line drive to left center. As the runner on first slides into third, he dislodges the base from its anchor. The base moves several feet into foul territory. The throw from center field hits the runner and deflects back into left field. The runner gets up and attempts to score, and the batter attempts to advance as well. So this is always possible. You've got a kid sliding into the bag pops up and off and into foul territory. The throw comes in, hits the runner, bounces away. What goes on next? First of all, is the runner out for interference? What does the batter need to touch? Does he have to touch the bag wherever it is? Or does he need only to touch the area where third base should be? Or does the ball immediately become dead when the base is dislodged? Taking a look at 708C, the approved ruling number 3, if a base is dislodged from its position during a play, any following runner on the same play shall be considered as touching or occupying the base if, in the umpire's judgment, that runner touches and occupies the dislodged bag or the point marked by the original location of the dislodged bag. So that runner could actually go and touch third base in foul territory and be okay there. So here are our potential answers. Is R1 out for interference? No, there's no interference. B4 must touch the bag wherever it is? No. B4 can touch the bag wherever it is. But also B4 need only touch the area where the third base should be, which is the correct answer. And the ball is not immediately dead when the base becomes dislodged. The only time you're going to kill play at that point, it's not an immediate dead ball. It's a delayed dead ball. You wait until no further playing action can happen. Then you call time, kill the play, reset. Number 7. The batter hits a fly ball to deep left center. The ball bounces off the fence, then off the glove, and then goes over the center field fence. Now, you're going to need a particularly spongy center field fence. maybe with that yellow protective piping, the ball comes over, whacks that, bounces. I've seen some pretty good bounces off of that stuff before. Hits the fielder's glove and then goes over the fence. What do we have? We got 2 bases, in other words, ground rule double, 3 bases, or awarded the home run. Take your pick. So 609H. The batter becomes a runner when, however, blah, blah, blah. Should such a fly ball be deflected at a point less than 165 feet, in other words, hits the fence, the batter shall only be entitled to 2 bases. So if it hits the fence first, then hits the fielder, then goes over, ground rule double. Good luck seeing that one. If the ball goes off the fielder and goes over directly, home run. But if it hits the fence first and then is deflected over, it's not a fly ball over the fence. It deflects off of the fence, not a fielder. Okay, that's the difference. Number 8, runner on second base, runner on third base. No outs. So we don't have a force situation. The batter swings, and as the catcher reaches for the pitch, the catcher's glove makes contact with the bat. However, the batter is strong enough to hit a fly ball to center field that allows the runner to tag up and score. The runner on second tags, but holds up at second as the throw goes to third. So here's the situation. Runner on second, runner on third, swings through the catcher's glove, fly ball to center field that's caught. That's what unfortunately is not in here, and that's not implied. Okay, tag up was the part that dictates that the ball was caught. So R3 tags up and scores, R2 tags but holds up at second, so what do we got? We have catcher's obstruction. The batter is awarded first, R2 is awarded third, and R3 is awarded home. The defensive coach, in B, may take the result of the play. B8 is out, R2 stays at second, and R3 scores. Or catcher obstruction, B8 is awarded first, R2 stays at second, and R3 goes back to third. So we've got one glaring giveaway here. Hopefully you caught it, and that's there's no such thing as catcher obstruction on a play like here. It would be catcher's interference. So immediately A and C can be ruled out. But the result of the play is that the defensive coach may take the result of the play. He can take the run, leave the runner on second, and the batter is out. Or he can leave the runners where they were, take the run off the board second and third, and put the batter on first. And then you'd have a bases loaded situation. So the defensive coach gets to make a hard decision. Do we take the run, or do we leave bases loaded with 1 out? It's not that hard of a decision, kids. All right. So the batter becomes a runner as entitled to first base without liability to put out when the catcher or fielder interferes. Okay, again, it's not obstruction on the catcher, it's interference on the catcher. So when we look at these, as I just said, you can take the result of the play. So now, 9. There's only 10 questions, by the way. 9 is runner on third, runner on second, no outs. Fly ball to the outfield. The third base coach, after realizing the ball would not be caught, pushes R3 off the base towards home. The plate umpire says, that's interference, the runner is out. The runner on second advances to third, and the batter runner makes it to first base. Now, what do we got? Do we have an immediate dead ball with the runner on third out, the runner on second returning, and the batter runner remaining? Do we have a live ball? The runner on third out, R2 remaining on third, where he advanced to, and the batter runner at first? Or do we have a delayed dead ball where the runner is out, R2 remains at second, returns to second, and the batter runner remains at first? So in all situations, it looks like the batter runner remains at first. In 2 of the situations, do we return him to second? Do we leave him on third? What do we do? Or is it a live and dead ball? How do we rule this? So 709. Interference by a batter or runner when, in the judgment of the umpire, the coach at third base or first base, by touching or holding the runner, physically assists. Okay, so we know we got something. We got interference. When the play is being made on the assisted runner, the runner is out. And all players and all runners return to the bases occupied at the time of interference. Now, however, if no play is being made on the assisted runner, the runner is out and play continues with a delayed dead ball. So, there wasn't a play being made on that runner at third. It was a fly ball. So we've got a situation where it's a delayed dead ball. That runner is going to be out. We're going to wait for the play to die. We're going to return that runner to second, and the batter runner is going to stay at first. All right, wrapping up with question 10. With a runner on first and a runner on third. So we got first and third, no outs, 1-1 count. The offense attempts to execute a suicide squeeze. The pitcher pitches out when he sees the runner on third attempting to advance. The batter, who is a right-handed batter, steps across the plate and fouls off the pitch with his left foot on the ground, clearly outside the batter's box. During the play, the runner crosses home and R1 advanced to second. So we got a lot going on here. We got a pitch out, we got the batter hitting the ball with one foot clearly outside the box, and we got runners moving. Good luck with this one, kids. So here's all our options. The batter is out. The batter is charged with a foul ball, and a count goes to 1 and 2. The runner scores. The runner is out. The runner returns from third. R1 remains at second or returns. A batter is out for legal action when hitting the ball with one or both feet on the ground entirely outside the batter's box. We got that. If the batter hits a fair ball or a foul ball while out of the batter's box, he or she shall be called out. The ball is dead instantly. Runners must return if they advanced on the play. So looking at all of our options again, we said the batter is out. Since it's an immediate dead ball, the runner returns to third, and the runner on first returns to first. Hope you did well, guys. Thanks.